tell me how many trips you made, how many of the kids were with you on, and what that meant to you to have your kids, and introduce us to them and what their names are.
After the trip to Egypt and the first trip that followed that trip in Egypt into the mountain range, there were 13 additional trips where we went back. My children, Lucas and Chelsea, came with me on 8 of those trips, and on a few of those it was just Penny and I, on the more stressful, higher, more difficult things that we did.
What did that mean to you?
To not have them be a part of it or in the middle of it was just ludicrous, because everything that happened to us in Egypt that put us on this, they were right there and they experienced with us.
You guys saw some really unique things. Chelsea, what's some of the things you remember seeing on the mountain that stick with you?
The quails, they were nowhere around up north did we see a lot of birds or anything. But once we got to the mountain, somebody pointed out that there were flocks of quail everywhere. And in the Bible it mentions that God sent flocks of quail down for the children of Israel to eat. And that was a major sign. The almonds, there were almond trees, and that was amazing because Moses had his almond rod, and there were fresh almonds blooming off this tree. And we have video of me and my brother just picking open fresh almonds, like right off the tree. We could pull them off and peel off the fresh, soft skin, and it was amazing.
You saw one other really unique tree there on the mountain.
We did see one enormous tree, and I guess it was like a cypress or a cedar. It wasn't real tall, but the trunk on it was probably, I know it's hard to say, maybe 20 feet across.
It was huge.
Was there any other tree like it?
There wasn't any tree of near that size. Even the fig trees, they were, the biggest ones maybe a foot, the trunks on them 2 foot in diameter. But this tree, it was just, I don't know, it looked like it had been there for eons. You could, just by looking at it, you could see the age of it.
When everybody thinks of Mount Sinai, they think of Moses and the burning bush.
That's the first thing we thought of.
Yeah, and it was all by itself. We talk about the almond trees, they were in groves, but this tree, this massive, huge tree, was all by itself on this mountain. Just, there's a tree. And it was like amazing. It was so awesome.
What did that make you feel like? To think that it could be that tree. What did that make you feel like?
Kind of scared.
Yeah,
because, that's where God was in the tree, his presence, and then it makes you feel like you got to take off your shoes because you're on really holy ground, and it makes you feel like you're with God.
A lot of the area out there, numerous places where you'd go. The whole time you'd just have a feeling about you, kind of like an uplifting feeling, I guess. It's awe-inspiring. And then at different places, like where this tree was, you kind of get there, and I wouldn't say it was such a scary feeling, but it's just a feeling like maybe that you don't belong. Like what you said, like take your shoes off, you're on holy ground.
What do you guys feel like the significance of all this is for people your age, like your friends, people you go to school with, hang out with, whatever? Like, what do you think the significance is?
A lot of people don't pay as much attention, I guess, to the Bible as they should. But a lot of people, they're skeptical about things. The Bible says this, but where's the evidence? A lot of people want to see God firsthand. They said, if he exists, why doesn't he show himself? He's showing himself in these ways. The Bible wasn't written 100 years ago after some guy went over there and said, oh, look at this, let's put this down in here and make people believe it.
And this is like a smack in the face. If you can see this and not believe it, then you'll never believe. But when it's there right in your face, you may not be there standing at the mountain, but for me to tell you or to tell them, look, this is really there, read this and look at these pictures, how could you not believe it? It's something that it's hard not to believe.